In Thomas and Friends, we're told something very simple. Every engine needs a driver. It's treated as a basic rule of the railway, something you're not really supposed to question. But when you actually stop and think about it, it doesn't make much sense. Because the engines aren't machines. They think, they feel, they argue.
As famous as me? Nonsense. He's famouser than you. He went 100 miles an hour before you were even thought of. Huh, so he says, huffed Gordon.
And sometimes they completely ignore instructions. So if Thomas can choose what he does, what exactly is the driver doing? To answer that, we need to understand two things. How trains work in the real world, and how they behave on the island of Sodor. In real life, a steam locomotive is completely dependent on its crew. The driver controls the engine, adjusting speed, brakes, and power. The fireman keeps the engine running, managing coal and steam pressure, but without them, the engine does nothing. It doesn't move, it doesn't react, it just sits there. The engine has power, but no will. And that's where Thomas and Friends becomes something very different. On Sodor, engines clearly do have will. They make decisions, they get stubborn, they refuse to move or move when they shouldn't, which creates a contradiction. Oh dear! If the driver is in control, why do the engines disobey? You can't drive something that can say no. So instead of controlling the engine, the driver must be doing something else. In Thomas Comes to Breakfast, Thomas wakes up early and doesn't want to wait for his driver. A cleaner tampers with his controls. At first, nothing happens. Thomas sits still. Then later, Thomas suddenly moves on his own, and because there's no driver, he cannot stop, crashing into the station master's house. Now, this is where things get interesting. Because when the cleaner tampers with the controls, nothing happens. If the driver truly controlled the engine, Thomas should have moved immediately, but he doesn't. The controls don't force Thomas to move, they only allow it. And once Thomas makes that decision, everything goes wrong, because now there's no one to regulate him. So this story doesn't show the driver controlling Thomas, it shows what happens when Thomas has control without a driver to restrain him. In this episode, the engines are visited by City of Churro, the first engine to go 100 miles per hour, though heavily debated. Duck is excited to see such a famous Great Western engine, but Gordon is jealous and dismissive. He mocks City of Churro for being domeless and boasts that reaching 100 miles per hour would be easy for him. Determined to prove himself, Gordon pushes the express faster and faster, but instead of succeeding, things go wrong. As he races along, the wind blows off his own dome, leaving him embarrassed and exposed. The trucks laugh and Gordon is humiliated, becoming exactly what he mocked. Okay, so this episode is a little easier to understand. Clearly, Gordon is in control of his speed. His driver cries out,
"Steady, boy," he said. "We aren't running a race." "We are, then," said Gordon, but he said it to himself.
Showing that his driver can't actually decide the speed. If he could, he would just slow Gordon down. There'd be no need for the exchange at all. So clearly, Gordon can choose how fast he goes. In Henry's special coal, Henry has become incredibly difficult to work with. He constantly complains that ordinary coal makes him feel ill, and because of this, he struggles to make enough steam to pull trains properly. The other engines become frustrated with him, and the railway begins having problems because Henry simply can't do his work effectively. Eventually, Henry's driver and fireman discover that a special type of Welsh coal works much better for him. Once Henry is given this new coal, everything changes almost immediately. Henry begins producing far more steam than before. He becomes faster, stronger, and far more energetic than anyone expected. One scene in particular supports my point tremendously and is the one that actually sparked the idea for this video. Henry is ready to pull his train. The Welsh coal is burning incredibly well and has built a lot of steam. Before they leave, Sir Topham cries out, "No record breaking, don't push him too hard," to which the driver replies, "Henry won't need pushing, sir, I'll have to hold him back." Showing that sure, the driver allows Henry to move, but he doesn't generate Henry's speed. Henry chooses how fast he goes based on his desire and ability to move. Wow, what a way to start the new stream of content for this channel. I do hope you enjoyed the video. it took a little longer than I thought to make. I did jump between editing this video and also editing the quote-unquote channel trailer, just so I wouldn't get creatively burnt out. But I think the final product is something that I'm comfortable with releasing. It obviously could be better in some areas, but overall I think it's a good start. I of course will be taking notes on this video and making my next videos high quality. This video was partly inspired by Terrier55 Stepney's video, What Would It Be Like Driving Thomas the Tank Engine? Please go check out his video, link is in the description. But anyways, I'm gonna head off now, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.